Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio tutorial. In this tutorial we continue looking on a function editor. So let's create some object and let's access the material properties for this object. Also we can open our edit function, and in previous tutorials we look on our input nodes. Now let's go look on our output node. And one thing when you notice what is output node, this is all properties, almost all properties that will have it in material, and they're separating by the tops kind of, and the same way main one, highlights, so they actually group very nicely about the reflectivity and color based. The one thing is what I want to show you, it is at least in this version of Vue they don't have it the translucity. And also let's add additional layer. They don't have it environment inside the function, so it maybe will add in the future, but at least not in this one. The identify of the function is actually very easy. When you see like this icon, lighting kind of icon, it's mean this is a property can be driven by function. To do this you just click it and it will open function editor, and if its tab wasn't exist before, like highlight colors, it will create it and add it here, and by default it will add with a constant node if you have it before slider. And okay, so in normal what you do, you just delete this constant and maybe replace with any other options you like it. Okay, and when you connect it, what's happening, you will notice, okay, here's our node, this will turn kind of reddish, so it's tell us one biggest kind of mistake I always do, even for a long time, when I try to edit I just click again on this one, and that's what happened, it will disconnect it. And a problem when I disconnect, it will lose all settings for me here. Okay, so one thing when you connect it, be sure you're going to this icon where it says like arrow play kind of, you click on this and it will take you to inside the editing node. Okay, this is kind of I hope what's happening, maybe again when you click it will warn you before disconnect and lose your settings. Okay, next things also, in many times when you see the color like picture reproduction, you can right click and it will also option available edit functions, so you can go inside and edit this way as well. Okay, by again double click, what is happening, it's have it preset functions that you can save before, and by clicking you can open library of those, and by selecting you can select one and assign, so it will load that function inside. And sometimes it's the best way to look how it was creating. So preloaded one, go inside and check out how it was done, so you kind of learn by example. Okay, let's reset this function. From this tab we look before, but let's look just very briefly again what we have. It color in alpha, it will supply for us information for what color representation, and we did this a lot, use it when, for example, we create rocks, so we can load it rocks before edit function, we can go replace with a dreaming with a noise node. What does happen to us, it will creating colors from our color map. Again, till we here, let's look on a color. Well, color map will be in the future, but overall, by double time click again, you can open library and load it directly from library. Right click and edit color map. You will open the editor, and you notice right here we have it key colors set. You can go over them and modify and move it. If you need new, you just double time click. It will open color selector. You can say which one you want it, or you can select here and press new color, which will create also the color key. And you can create positioning this way, or also you notice right here you have a window. If you want more precise, you can move this way. Okay, it just depends. Your clamping mirrors or whatever, it's how will affect it. If you want repeating or or mirroring on a colors when you go over here. Okay, so let's click OK on this, and we will look on this a little bit more again when we're going inside the editor. The bumps, it is okay, let's modify this. It is bump material, how we'll apply it. So we'll just very fast create the fractal. Okay, and you notice how it's applied. Again, depth, it's representing how much distortion it will have on the surface. You also can go in a negative. So they're going, instead they go up, those moments. It's actually what happened, kind of almost inversing, but from the point of the surface. So instead go up, they will go down, but from surface. And of course you have your filter right here, so you can narrow down. And enable displacement map. One thing, if you notice right here, okay, let me go maybe a little bit closer. Okay, even you see it's have a kind of bump texture on this, but if we render, you notice it is edge, it still be round. So we see the bump material right here, and it's how light reflecting, but the shape of it doesn't change at all of the object. But going enable displacement map, and okay, you will notice the edge start will changing as well. And let's, you know what, let's go increase okay, let's delete this layer, we don't need it. Let's go increase a little bit bigger so we can preview, and maybe make this. So what I want to do, I want to have it a little bit more. So in that case, you can preview a little bit nice, more displacement on the edge. So actually, when you enable, that's what happened. Okay, let's go right here. Okay, right here. There you go. So here you can see the edge, it's will affecting edge. Then before it did not. Okay, so this is for displacement, and this was introduced in Vue 6, and it's very nice. But one thing, it's take quite a bit rendering time if you want to do correctly. So just use careful this, and if you can avoid of using displacement map, it will save some rendering time for you. Highlights. In the previous input nodes, we was using quite a bit on the highlights. Overall, let's just make this area brighter with the sunshine, kind of. Okay, let's reset this one and reset this. For example, this one you can see highlight was adding quite a bit brighter point to this, and we can have it dual or shiny more reflecting. And again, just watch absorbed materials, how each of them, and you can simulate that way. Transparency, it's a straightforward again, how much material transparent, let's see through the blurred, it's how much light is blurred which going through. And refraction index, this is kind of interesting. You can use that to simulate specific material. For example, one, it's up to air. So if you look to, it's actually 1.008 on the air, and water will be 1.3 approximately, and a glass about 1.5. So one thing, if you always have a question, you can go a nice source, you can go to Wikipedia, and for example right here I have the Wikipedia, and this is how you can calculating diffraction index, so for the materials you wanted. Or I would say you can look for another one, and people nice enough sometimes they just posted refraction, and I have some other one source where we have a big list of refraction for almost any other material. Okay, and that's what you're putting right here when you want what actually refraction do, it's a distortion lights by passing through. That's actually what it is. It's how much the distortion will applied. Okay, and fade in, fade out, it is how much light will change color. The one thing you also notice, everywhere where you see these arrows, it's mean every time when you click, it's going to function, and it will create the output node. And most important, when it's creating, it will have master node at that time when I access through. So it's still, you can still save by that. And again, if you're still creating output node from like drop down here, remember it won't be your master node. So even you add function and you want to save it, it won't save this, it will save whatever was master node selected. And it is very useful to access, at least set up the original from your lighting icon from your materials. So here is our reflectivity. It's again straightforward. It's how much material reflecting. Translucity, it's not yet driven by functions. And when we go to the more material editing in depth, we'll look again on all these tabs, include translucity. And effects will include your normal lightings, which diffuse, ambient, luminosity, it's how much produced light, your contrast, your metallic contrast, color transmission of the light, your glowing. And actually using of the glowing, it's very nice. You can apply to area light. One thing about area light, I'll still be here, it will take properties of the material that you're creating here. So if you're going inside and you says I want more ambience, you set your properties this way and maybe change color map so it will be reddish this way, and we'll go right here and we'll right click and says convert to area light. What is actually happening, it's a took some of the properties we created to material and convert to area light that way. So before you do create area light, be sure you're going inside and set properties in a way you want it in the lighting area, at least right here if you want to add glowing and other things, because I notice area light doesn't give it glowing to the object. In this case you can add it and it will look more realistic. And overall, this is all what I want to show you about output node. They not that new, or they're not hard to understand. Those is output nodes, how to say it's material nodes that related to the in an object you apply those materials. Okay, and thank you for watching this tutorials from Geekatplay Studio. Please come visit us on our web is www.geekatplay.com.